Joy Tribe, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel. We're going to react to some sad news today. Queen Elizabeth II has passed away at 96 years old. Now, as you know, I used to live in London. I was there living there for a year. And it's really interesting because when you live in London and the UK as a whole, you think the Queen will never die. You think that she is eternal because she's 96 freaking years old. She was, and she died today. So, we're going to react to this video. This is ABC World News tonight with David Muir. We're going to react to it. I want to know your comments down below. Did you support the Queen? Do you feel she was a great monarch? I mean, she really lived a long, juicy, fruitful life. I mean, my goodness. Of course, there are some theories that all wasn't as great on the surface as it was below, but let's react to this video right now.
As the world remembers and honors Queen Elizabeth II, word of her death echoing around the world today. Britain's Queen Elizabeth dying at 96 after a 70-year reign, Britain's longest ruling monarch. She was a steady figure over so many decades during times of
Britain's longest ruling monarch. And Britain has a history of monarchies. Let me tell you, Britain knows a thing or three about monarchies. Now, in the United States, it's very weird, right? For American, I'm an American. I don't know where you're watching this from. Most of my viewers are from America. But if you're from the UK, I think I have like 5% of my viewers are from the UK. If you're watching, let me know. And, condolences because the Queen is a huge figurehead. And many believe that she did actually still have power. We're going to watch this video and see if this is just a fluff piece or if it goes kind of into her reign because she was a very, very powerful woman. The Queen definitely was respected and celebrated by many American presidents, including President Trump, who said she was a very unique woman and very special. Um, she was sassy. She's a Taurus. Hey, fellow Taurus. She was a very sassy, strong woman, 96 years old, and the longest reigning monarch, 70 years. In fact, she just celebrated her 70-year jubilee. I was in the UK, I was in London when it was happening. It was a big deal. It was about 4 or 5 days of celebrations. I was actually there during the parade. I was outside. I had my friends, some friends visiting from different countries, some friends from Russia, some friends from Israel. Like we were all in the UK at the same time. It was crazy. The streets were packed. She was a very, very well-loved monarch. It's going to be interesting to see what they do in the UK. Like how is the UK going to react? How are all our favorite royals going to react? I mean, in the US, we don't really care that much about royals, but in the UK, best believe they're bigger than the Kardashians.
joy and times of turbulent change.
What joy?
Figure over so many decades during times of joy and times of turbulent change, a monarch, a leader, a diplomat, a head of state, but also a wife, mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother, committed to duty and service. Just this week, welcoming Britain's new prime minister in person at Balmoral. The royal family sharing this photo tonight and the news that the Queen died peacefully at Balmoral Castle, where she was spending the summer. Earlier,
I think Balmoral is in Scotland. Correct me if I'm wrong, Joy Tribe. Is it Scotland?
Her family members gathering, arriving at Balmoral after doctors in a rare public statement reported they were concerned about Her Majesty's health. Charles and Camilla already in Scotland, arriving by helicopter. Prince William with Uncles Andrew and Edward flying up from London. Prince Harry also arriving in Scotland.
I mean, Prince Harry, poor Prince Harry. I mean, this is going to shake him. I know he was very close to his grandma, and his wife is definitely, well, I mean, what do you guys think about Meghan Markle? Because MM around these her parts is more considered like this ultra feminist. I think she has narcissistic tendencies. She is a narcissist, in my viewpoint. There's a great channel called Baggage Claim that really debunks a lot of her fakery. I might put a link below, or if you want me to do a reaction to Baggage Claim, because I love that channel, and she really debunks a lot of the royals. Pomp and circumstance when it comes to Meghan Markle, which many royals don't even like her because she's this California actress who just came in and stole Harry's heart. I mean, it's really some nefarious things. First, I was like, oh, yeah, what's the big deal? And then I was like, oh, yeah, no, this woman's pretty much Amber Heard 2.0 or 1.0. These ultra crazy, feminazis kind of people are just they really attack and get in where the power is, and I do think that that's happened to Harry, but what do you guys think? I think that Harry's been really demasculized.
Crowds gathering at London's Buckingham Palace holding a vigil in the rain
Been
today.
there.
And then that simple yet powerful image today, the notice posted on the palace gate telling the
Oh,
world that the
wow.
Queen had passed. Just 48 hours earlier, honoring her last official duty, greeting Britain's new Prime Minister Liz Truss.
Look how
This
cute
was the
she
Queen on
is.
Tuesday this week.
Oh, so Britain's new prime minister, 48 hours. I mean, she looked incredibly healthy for 96 years old. Look at this woman. This is really kind of crazy that the queen passed because I'm in shock. I thought the queen would never die. Honestly, I'm like this queen, her son is going to be the king now, and this is really quite shocking. It's something that nobody expected to happen even though she was elderly. She was really kicking. She came out in the Jubilee. She waved to everybody. She wore her hats. I mean, she looks happy and healthy there. She definitely doesn't look 96. I mean, she'd be looking in her 80s. I hope that I can age this well. But what do you guys think about the Queen? What do you guys think about Queen Elizabeth II and her reign? Do you think things are going to change now that she's passed? It's going to be interesting to see what happens. We have a new prime minister in the UK, which I'm not as up on the UK politics. So, what y'all think? You think this is crazy, or I want to know your thoughts, Joy Tribe. So make sure you leave a comment down below.
Week with her trademark smile right there. And this image amid news of the Queen, a double rainbow over Buckingham
Wow.
Palace today.
Look at that.
Tonight here, the Queen in her own words, what she promised at just 21 years old. But first, ABC's Maggie Ruley leading us off tonight from Balmoral in Scotland for us.
Tonight, the United Kingdom and the world mourning the loss of one of the most celebrated and revered women of our age, Queen
She
Elizabeth
was
II,
something.
passing away peacefully today at 96. She was said to be comfortable, surrounded by family at her beloved Balmoral estate in Scotland. The palace releasing a statement from the new king, now His Majesty Charles III. The death of my beloved mother, Her Majesty the Queen,
I am finally the king. I thought it would never happen. I thought my mother would never leave this planet, and I would leave first. But ha ha ha, I am finally King Charles III to succeed my mother as monarch for the last few moments of my sad existence.
is a moment of the greatest sadness for me and all members of my family. We mourn
That's cruel.
profoundly
I
the
shouldn't be
passing of a
cruel.
cherished sovereign and a much loved mother. I know her loss will be deeply felt throughout the country, the realms, and the Commonwealth, and by countless people around the world. During this period of mourning and change, my family and I will be comforted and sustained by our knowledge of the respect and deep affection in which the Queen was so widely held.
She
Somber
knew how to
crowds.
dress. She knew how to freaking dress too. This queen was one of the most, I would say, stalwart, like strong representations of monarchy and dressing with this dignity, this dignified style, the hats, the colors, right? She always wore her bright colors. It's interesting because, being on the outside, I want to know what you Joy Tribe think about the queen. I personally see her as this figurehead who is extremely powerful. There was some shady stuff that came out though right before she passed about the royal family, the royals. So I don't want to be disrespectful to anyone watching this channel who's at the UK because I it's not my place to judge, but you do come here for the comments. You do come here for the reactions. And I'm just a little undecided on what's going on because I have some of my friends saying, "Oh no, she was actually quite evil." There's actually a lot of nefarious things going on, right? Like human things going on, like atrocities against humanity. I don't want to say too many things here. We're trying to not get demonetized on this channel, but on the other hand, people are saying no, she was just a figurehead and she was not in charge of a lot of things. And then I don't know, they're just very unique. It's very strange. The royal family's always sort of semi-fascinated me. I do love a bit of pomp and circumstance. Your girl loves that. Princess Joyvilla. I love the castle, the royal elegance. I love the style. I mean, talk about style. Nobody does style like the UK. The Brits really do that conservative royal style, and they've kept it in the family for centuries upon centuries. Nobody's done it like the history of the UK, really, truly. And they dominated so much of the world. I mean, talk about taking over the world, colonizing half. I mean, I don't know if it's half, but it feels like half the planet because we all speak English, right? Not the Queen's English, but we do speak our own. We do speak our own version of English, darling. This may not be the Queen's English. My accent is so bad right now. It's late. I did live in the UK for a year. Hold on, let me do it a little better. I do speak the Queen's English, darling, just not always as good as it should be. How's that? Let's continue.
gathering outside Buckingham Palace, leaving
Crazy.
flowers at the gates. The notice posted, the flag lowered to half staff. And as Britain paused, rainbows stretching across the sky.
A few moments ago, Buckingham Palace announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
Anchors on British television.
Wait, I'm sorry, but before we get into the anchors, that guy was so like a few moments before announcing the death of our majesty, her majesty, her royal majesty, the queen. I mean, this guy is really putting it on. Is it just me or does it feel like they're just really milking this? It's like they love a good, you know, passing because all these newscasters can just I'm going to win my Emmy today, whatever they give you in the UK.
Delivering the news.
Queen passed away earlier today with the family by her side.
Oh, wow.
Pilots even alerting passengers in flight. This morning, hours of uncertainty after that rare detailed statement from the palace. The Queen's doctors, concerned for Her Majesty's health, recommended she remain under medical supervision. Her family racing to their matriarch's side. Charles
Wow.
arriving first by helicopter.
I mean, that's gotta be hectic. That's gotta be so hectic. And by the way, I deeply, deeply have my sympathy and regards towards the family of the Queen, Her Majesty the Queen, and anyone who knew her. Like, I definitely want to do my condolences. I want to say my condolences because the death of someone as great as this character in she lives in infamy, right? She's infamous and for better for worse. She's a famous figurehead. And I do think that many of our figureheads are blown out of proportion, I think in general, but please don't get offended by my criticisms and my questioning because I do think that this is why you come to this channel for the truth and for my viewpoints. You thought I was going to say my version of the truth, right? There is no, there's no. But of course, what is true for me, like how I feel, my beliefs is true for me, right? So there is that. But really, it's just it's eerie. When I heard that the Queen died today, I was like, what? I was in disbelief. I'm still shocked. I'm stunned. I want to know what y'all think, Joy Tribe. What do you think about this?
Other members of the royal family flying into a foggy Aberdeen airport in Scotland. Prince William looking solemn, walking onto the tarmac. Driving Prince Andrew, Prince Edward, and wife Sophie, a grandson, sons, and daughter-in-law
William.
in grief. Their convoy seen speeding through the estate gates. Prince Harry traveling to Balmoral alone, arriving after the official announcement had been made.
Isn't that interesting that Megan's not there? I wonder how she's gonna spin this to her own, attention. I mean, I can't imagine the pain and suffering that they're going through right now and the intensity of the press on their butt. That is intense. I have been, involved in many things that are quite scandalous before as far as media goes. You guys know who I am. Google me if you don't. I'm very outspoken in politics and so forth. And as a female, and I just really truly think that this is going to be a media circus. Not only is the grief of losing a loved one very intense, just as a human personally, I've lost both my parents, God bless them. As a preacher's daughter, it was really intense losing my dad. This is my tattoo for him. It says Daddy's Girl. It was very much an emotional thing where I had to handle a lot of the proceedings too. And I lost my mother 3 years before I lost my dad. This was almost 15 years ago, and it was absolutely devastating to lose both my parents within 3 years, and I tell you, you do not get over it for a long time. You really don't. If you've lost a loved one, I lost my grandma when I was about 6 or 7, and that was really hard, but I was a little girl. I loved my grandma, Grandma Mary on my dad's side, and I lost my grandma on my mom's side, about 5 years ago, but you know, she was 93. My grandma was 93, 92 or 93 on on my mom's side, my maternal grandma, and my grandma was 87 or 86 on my dad's side, my paternal. So, it really shocks you, the loss of a loved one is intense. I can't imagine also being hounded by the press. No matter what you think about the royals, I do think that we should react with some tact and courtesy because the loss of a loved one it's intense. Let me know if you've lost someone, please, because I empathize with you. I sympathize with you. It's really, really intense. And then imagine if the press was I mean, look at these pictures. They're attacking him with cameras. So, I know a lot of people are going to come out pretty soon. We're going to see an onslaught of dirty deeds dug up and all these things. And I just be respectful, find the truth, but be respectful. That's always my stand. And I have compassion for the people, the individuals who are going through this because it is not easy. But imagine what the country is going through. Crazy. I was going to go take a trip to the UK perhaps this month or next month to visit some friends. And I've got some things still over there, in storage and staying at friends' houses. I've got a lot of friends out there. And I don't know if this is a right time to do it. The streets are going to be flooded. I don't know what's going to happen though. The Brits are like, "Oh, we're going to riot in the streets." I don't think they're going to riot in the streets. They're quite polite. I don't think there'll be any rioting. It's not America after all, darling. During Biden, it's not America during Biden.
With William and Harry without their wives, as shockwaves reverberated around the kingdom.
She was somebody I think that we'll never see again. I think a lot of people are really going to be sad, but also they'll be celebrating an amazing life and an amazing public servant.
Just 48 hours ago, these last images of the Queen inviting Great Britain's new Prime Minister, Liz Truss, to form a government, despite the decline in her health, still performing her constitutional responsibility, and still with
That's
that
admirable.
iconic twinkle in her eye. It was immediately after
Wait,
that
is
event.
that an iconic twinkle? Oh my gosh, zoom in on that picture. That picture looks scary though. How do I zoom in on this? Full screen? What? Look how scary. That's not a twinkle in her eye. That looks a little bit demonic. What is going on? I mean, that photo is scary as heck. That photo is scary. What is happening? I don't like that photo. I was going to be very diplomatic until I saw that photo. That's not a twinkle in her eye. Her eyes are like all black. That's scary. All right. Well, listen, I forgot my train of thought, but I was gonna say, hats off to her for still working up into the day, like up into 2 days, 48 hours before she was still working and doing her duties. I do wish I could say the same for many public servants in this country, especially now. I mean, we have a president who's doing nothing for the country. And we should have had the president who did everything for the country. Y'all know how I feel. So interesting, very interesting. I mean, we got Trump 2024. I hope so. And DeSantis, we got Rock, and I'm in Florida, so I'm woo. But I mean, love her or hate her, this monarch was a great woman in terms of influence and in length of being the queen. Britain's longest standing monarch. Very interesting. Let me know if you want me to react to more. And I think we're going to end off. We'll do it like a minute more. We'll play this. And I want to see your comments down below, Joy Tribe. What do you think? Love the queen, hate the queen, mourn the queen, miss the queen, think that the royals are just a bunch of fluff? Or do you deeply respect the royals? Or are you somewhere in between?
That doctors worried about her condition. The Queen celebrating
Wow.
70 years on the throne this past summer. Her son Charles, now the King, expressing gratitude on behalf of the British people to his mother, the Queen.
Your Majesty, Mummy, on behalf of us all.
Mummy. What a cool background, though, like rock star. What do you say when you're the king and it's your mom that was the queen who passed? Crazy situation. I can't imagine.
I wanted to pay my own tribute to your lifetime of selfless service.
Tonight, the British people again thanking their queen for 80% of the kingdom, the only monarch they've ever known.
Wow. 80% of the kingdom, of the queendom. 80% only knew her.
So moving, the crowds
70
gathering in
years.
London.
Okay, we don't need to hear the rest from World News Tonight. Crazy stuff, right? So, what do you guys think? Joy Tribe, this is where I'm going to end off. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts. Thank you so much for joining me and my reaction channel, getting you new videos, at least 2 new videos daily on current news, spicy news stories, current events, all kinds of stuff. And I'll check you on the next one. Please leave a comment, like, subscribe for the algorithm. Your girl is shadowed. So make sure you help me out. And I love you so much. I'll see you on the next one. Bye, Joy Tribe. Wow. Never